Jamie here from PVS Automotive. Today we are going to show you how to upgrade your 100 series LandCruiser or 105 series LandCruiser steering wheel if you have the factory cruise control, which is a 3-wire system. Now what we'll do, we'll go ahead and remove the steering wheel. Now as you can see, this is the OEM steering wheel, and on each side of the steering wheel we have a cover. Now this cover needs to be removed, and to do so you need to grab a flathead screwdriver. Now what we're going to do, we're going to remove the steering wheel. This is a factory 100 series steering wheel. You'll need a little flathead screwdriver, and all you need to do is pop open the side covers. Now these are very easy to take off, but very tricky at the same time. Okay, once you remove the side covers, you will need a T30 Torx bit. Now this Torx bit on a rudder gun. On the side you'll find 2 Torx screws, which I'll link in the video. So once you've done that, the airbag will come out nicely. Now you need to be careful here. Make sure you've already disconnected the battery so that nothing happens. Nothing can go wrong because it is an isolated system, but it's always just safer to remove and disconnect the battery. Now I've just unplugged the yellow one, which is the airbag detonator, and this is your horn wire. And that's your airbag out. We'll put that aside for later because you'll need to transfer the detonator from this horn pad to the other horn pad. Now, the next job is going to be removing and unplugging the factory cruise control. You're going to need this white plug later. It's got 4 cables on it. Once again, I've just used a screwdriver to undo that plug. Okay, now make sure that nothing is plugged into the clock spring because you can damage the clock spring if you leave something connected to it. Now what we're going to do is grab our 19mm deep socket on a rattle gun again, and we're just going to undo that bolt. Now if you're struggling to take the wheel off, put the bolt back on, put the nut back on, and while it's there, make sure you're centered as well, because if we take the steering wheel off, we need to make sure we put the steering wheel back on in the exact same position. So with the nut screwed in, just give it a couple of taps like that, and that way as you're pulling it, the nut's actually stopping the whole steering wheel from whacking you in your face. Okay, so what I always do is I make sure that I've positioned the clock spring and the steering wheel completely center. That way when I put the new one on, it will also be completely center. Okay, so we can remove this nut now, and we can take the steering wheel off. Okay, now what I'll do now is go grab the steering wheel and put the steering wheel in position. Okay, now that we've got our new steering wheel, we just need to make sure that we feed the factory airbag detonator connector through the core. Make sure that clock spring is dead center as well. And steering wheel goes on. Now don't forget this nut, it's very important that it goes back on, otherwise your steering wheel will fall off. So, now there is a specific torque rating this needs to be torqued to, which I'll put below in the description. And that's how you put the steering wheel on. Now, with this particular model, obviously we've got the 6-pin connector, and we need to wire that to our cruise control. Okay, and then what we'll be doing is also running the steering control modules to the back of the head unit so that we can control the steering wheel, so the steering wheel can actually control the head unit and all the buttons will work along with cruise control. Right, so now what I'll do is I'll go and grab the module, our new 105 series cruise control retention module, and what we need to do is solder into this and also into our factory cruise control connector, which is here. In the next step, you need to grab your PVS wiring diagram that we supply on the website. You can download this, so that will come in the kit, and this is your module. Okay, and all we need to do now is marry up all the wiring, as you can see here, according to the wiring diagram. So I will proceed to do that. We've also got the motherboard labeled, switch 1, ground, the other switch, so it's a 3-wire system. So you can see here, that's your 3 wires. Then we've got our power input and another power input here. One is for the module and the other one is for the actual cruise control system and your ground. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is cut the cruise control wiring here on the 300 series steering wheel, which is the blue and the white. It may be different, colors may vary between models. It will also vary from where you purchase it from, depending on whether the company you've purchased it from has used OEM style wiring or aftermarket. Generally they are blue and white. Okay, now what we have is our 3 wires here. These 3 wires will need to be connected to the existing cruise control plug. So as you can see, I need to cut this. Now don't cut it too short because you do need to solder this. Okay, so what you've got, I normally go about halfway. The reason I do that is if I ever need to put this back to normal again, I can do so because there's enough wiring there. Okay, so we've got our 3-wire cruise system, right? That's your 3-wire cruise, and this is our horn wire. This is where we're going to get power from, and this is also where the wireless module for the steering controls also get power from. Okay, and ground is obviously on the steering wheel. Now what we can do is see these blue and white cables, they will connect to the 300 series cruise control. Now keep in mind, we've left a lot of length on this so you can mount the module wherever you want. This also suits different steering wheels. Now what we're going to do is we are going to measure the length so that we can, I think, sit it down at the bottom. There's a lot of room down at the bottom. It's probably better we put it there. We can probably double-sided tape it right there. So if I measure the cables now, I'll do the white and blue first. So we'll just leave a little bit of extra length. And you can also do this on the bench on your workbench, but I actually prefer to do it in the vehicle. That way all my wiring, everything can be measured correctly, and once I'm done, I'm ready to go. I don't need to come to the car and actually install it all. And these are very handy. You can buy these from any electrical or J-car shop. You can even get them on Amazon now, so these are really handy to have. And what you need to do, this saves soldering them because it actually releases solder and heat shrinks it at the same time. They're not visibly attractive, but they do the correct job of what we need to do. And yeah, if you're doing wiring that's visible, I would still suggest using heat shrink and taping. Now, what I do here is I twist them just like that. Okay. Make sure you have enough length and that the solder join is directly over the connection. And we'll do the same with this one. So this is our 2-wire cruise connection. And what this module does is it interfaces the 2-wire system that modern Toyotas use, and it digitizes it so that it actually functions through a 3-wire factory cruise ECU, which is what the 105 series has. There might be other vehicles out there that share the same ECU, so you might need the same system, but in today's application we're using it in a 105. Right, so that's our blue and white. And what you do now is you grab your blowtorch. Just be careful not to burn any cables. You can also use a heat gun. Just give it a bit of heat and you'll see the solder will start to melt, as you can see there and there. And when the solder has filled up, that's how you know you've done the right job and that it's melted enough. Okay, so that's our 2-wire cruise control from the 300 wheel. Now, the next part, what we can do here is we can join our 3 wires. So this is our 3-wire cruise to the 3 wires on our module. And the most simple and easiest one is obviously red to red. Now the length for this needs to be, you need to make sure that you can plug it in and connect it like that. Okay, so once again, this can all be done on a workbench, but I do it in the car. It just makes it easier. I know what I'm doing. I might even run these cables behind because we do have the length. Okay. Alright, so that's our red. And I'll just run the other 2 up as well. Probably easier to grab a pair of long nose pliers. Okay. So we've got our 3 wires now. Just make sure we have good length. And what I'll do is measure one more time before I cut anything. Always give yourself like an extra 1 or 2 centimeters because you can still hide it behind you. There's no need to make it super tight, and if you make a mistake you're just going to make your life harder. So give it a bit of extra and cut them. Make sure you've got no power connected. You don't want to short any modules. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the plug out because I've already measured it. I'm happy with that, just so we can put the connectors on a bit easier. Okay, So these are our 3 wires that we need to join to. Okay, strip them. Before I strip those, little solder connectors. I'll just cut them all the same length. And now strip them. I'm going to grab our plug. Okay, we've got 3 wires here. We've got white with black stripe, red, and pure white. On our 3 wire system coming out of the module, we've got white to white. So we've made that one very easy. Then you've got red to red. And then you've got white with brown stripe going to white with black stripe. Put our solder joiners over it. Make sure they're all lined up. Make sure the cables haven't come out. Blowtorch. Okay. So they are our 3 wire connectors, all finished. We'll let that cool down a bit before we start moving it. Just leave it up there for now. Okay, now what we've got left are these 3 wires here. We've got yellow. Now that's going to be our horn power. We're taking power from that horn wire, which is the black wire. Okay. And then we've got 2 grounds. So we will join the green and the black grounds together and earth them onto the steering wheel. Now we're going to do this together with our wireless module kit. But just so we don't confuse anybody who hasn't purchased our wireless module kit for the actual steering controls to work with the head unit, I'll continue wiring this up and then we can add the wireless module for the controls after. Right, so we need to do the same thing again. We're going to plug this in to the clock spring. That's already cooled down now, so that's good. Now this plug was going to the factory horn pad, but no longer will be able to go into it. It's a different plug now. They all use spade connectors. So we'll cut this, but I'm not going to cut it right there because then I won't be able to join it or use it ever again if I need to revert this car back to stock. So I always just give it about, 3 centimeters. Put that aside, make sure we keep it. And what we'll do, we'll strip back this insulation. Okay. And we'll expose a bit of the cable so that we can join onto it. All right. Now, yellow wire. What we'll do here, we'll actually try and feed these ones behind as well. Because the less wiring you have in front, the easier the horn pad will go on. Plus we're also going to have our wireless module for the steering Bluetooth controls. So we need to make sure that we have enough room back here. All right. So this will go onto the back of the horn pad. This wire, we're going to put a spade connector on it. And this is our 12 volt in going to our module. Cut that. It's plenty of length. So we've connected that. And all we need to worry about now is our grounds. So trim them accordingly. Twist them together. And now you've got ground. And that ground can go onto a ring terminal and you'll earth it onto the steering wheel. Okay. So I'll give you an example here. Just unscrew that a little bit. I'll create my own little ring terminal here and use a screwdriver. If you haven't got a ring terminal in your toolkit or workshop, you can use a screwdriver like I just showed. Wrap it around the cable like that. Screw. And that is now earthed. Okay, that's very strong. Only use that method if you haven't got a ring terminal handy. We actually do have one. It comes with our wireless steering control kit for the steering controls. It's a separate module to the actual cruise control kit that we sell. Okay, so when you purchase one of our PVS steering wheel upgrade kits, if you've purchased it together with a head unit harness, you'll get that wireless module. Okay, so there you have it. This is how you would connect the 3-wire to 2-wire retention module harness for the 105 Series LandCruiser. This would connect to the back of your horn pad and you'd be done. Now what we're going to do in the second part of this video, we will now install the wireless steering control module that will communicate with the head unit. We'll also mount the horn pad and the airbag detonator, put it all in place, test the vehicle, go for a test drive. Okay, for the second part of our video, we're going to connect the PVS wireless steering wheel control module into our existing wiring here with our 3-wire to 2-wire system. Now, before we cut this off from our cruise control, this was from our 300 wheel, we're actually going to use this and join it onto our horn wire that we cut before. That way it can connect directly to our wireless steering control module. As you can see, we've got a spade bit there. So use one of these again. Nice solder joiners. Strip our horn wiring. Okay. Right, that's our horn wire. Let that cool down a bit. What we'll do now, we're going to connect the ground from our wireless steering wheel module. We're going to connect the ground to the earth and ground on the steering wheel. This is very important. Okay, our modules are very simple. We've got a ground, we've got the steering wheel controls. They actually plug into our module. They don't plug into a clock spring or anything like that. They plug into our module. And then you've got the horn cable input, and that piggybacks onto this, which then goes onto your airbag. You might need to open this up depending on the model. Okay, now that's ready to go onto the airbag. You've got the detonator plug and your horn trigger, and that's it. That's what you would now connect. Tidy all this up, which is what we're going to go ahead and do right now. We're also going to throw a bit of tape onto our 105 series retention module. Make sure we tape this up, protect it a bit. There is a bit of metal in these steering wheels. Obviously they're made out of aluminium, and we need to make sure that nothing shorts out. So we'll tape that up and tidy this up a little bit, and then we'll get onto the head unit wiring. All right, so I've grabbed some 3M electrical tape, and what we're going to do, we're just going to wrap this module. All right, it doesn't need to be waterproof, just need to make sure that it's protected from shorting out onto anything else. Okay, got all our modules in there. Now we can start tidying up. It might look like there's a lot going on, but it's actually a very simple system. Yeah, just want to make sure that everything is free from these 3 pins. That's where the airbag will click into. And you also don't want too much happening behind here, because the airbag actually sits behind there and you're very limited with space. but that looks pretty neat. And there are our two plugs that we're going to plug into the horn pad. Okay, so I'll show you guys that part now. This is the airbag / horn pad that we supply. Now these don't come with an inflator or detonator. There are two words for it. You need to transfer that from your original airbag. Okay, you need to pull out this detonator and put it onto this airbag down here. So the first thing we need to do is release this little clip. Like that. And we'll grab a 8mm socket into a cordless drill. Don't lose these little nuts, you need them. And you need to make sure that you position it the exact same way. Okay, so as we're pulling this one off, I've got the other horn pad below it, because you don't want to turn it and have it in a different orientation. You need to make sure it's exactly the same orientation, and place it onto the new horn pad. Just put them on by hand first, because you don't want to cross thread them or anything, because they're very old. They sometimes do start to cross thread, so just by hand first. The last thing you want to do is cross thread these. They're very hard to get off. That's it. And just like a wheel, opposite direction. Okay. Now that's the horn pad done. Now what we're going to do, we're going to connect the airbag module. And we're going to connect the horn trigger wire as well, down below here. Okay, and that'll all just push in there. Now I've already connected the power on this vehicle because I'm not working with any wiring, so we will hear the horn go off. All right, just make sure you tuck the yellow horn airbag plug just down the bottom there. Okay, so I'm ready to push this on now. So you'll get 3 clicks, and that's how you know your airbag is now pushed on correctly onto the steering wheel. Okay, it should not be loose. Make sure that all 3 points have made contact and connected. All right, so that's our second part of the video. Now, the third part is going to be putting the wireless module behind the head unit, and that will be our receiver module, which also comes in our steering wheel kits. This is a separate item, as I mentioned earlier in this video, to the 105 series cruise control retention harness and module. This is a completely different system, and it's something that we do sell, as I said, with all our PVS steering wheels. All of our steering wheels are ADR approved. We're the only company in Australia with an aftermarket steering wheel for a Toyota LandCruiser or any Toyota vehicle that is ADR approved. All right, in this next part, we're going to remove the factory head unit so that we can plug in our steering control module. Okay, so we can drop that down. Now, depending on what wiring you already have in the car, most of the time it's plug and play depending on how they've installed the head unit. If the head unit has been installed into the vehicle using a cheaper process of just cutting the loom and soldering it, then unfortunately our plug and play harness won't work and you'll need to splice into your wiring loom. Now fingers crossed this one hasn't been cut, and hopefully we can find, which I can see here already, our factory Toyota plug. So you just simply plug this in line with the factory Toyota power socket and the harness that's going to the head unit. So as you can see, I've just unplugged that and I'll plug in our wireless module in between that. Okay, now key 1 and key 2, these are only used for head units that don't have a 3.5mm steering wheel control jack. I know that the Alpines do have a jack, so I will go ahead and cut the key 1 in key 2. They are not needed. Okay, now we've plugged the power in. The last thing we need to do is plug this into the head unit, and to do that we actually need to get the head unit out. So it would have been good if there was a plug that Alpine had left for us to just plug in here, but unfortunately there isn't. So what I'll do now is I'll pull out the head unit, plug the 3.5mm jack into it and turn the car on. Alright, so now we'll go ahead and we'll take out the factory head unit. Okay, so we'll take the Alpine out. And just behind here there is a jack labelled wheel remote, or W remote. It's right next to the microphone. Plug that in and close this back up again. So we've done all that. Now what I do before I put this back, I always check the controls are working. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Now the little red light will turn on our wireless module. That's how you know you've connected this side correctly. And as you can see, with the Alpine, you don't even need to program it. Once you've connected it, it works right out of the box. There are some other head units like the Kenwood, the Pioneer and the Sony. You are required to program the head unit, but with Alpine, it's a true plug and play system. Volume up, volume down, and the rest of the functions work as per normal as well. Mode, and so on. And there you have it, guys. That is a quick and easy installation for your 100 or 105 series steering wheel control kit with 3-wire cruise control system. Now if you have a 2-wire control cruise system, it's even easier because you don't need our 105 series with retention module. You will literally join the 2 wires straight out of the factory cruise control plug into the 2 wires coming from the 300 series steering wheel. So the beginning of this video that had the 105 series cruise control retention module was only for the 3-wire cruise control system, guys. Okay, so there you have it. All working as a factory vehicle. Horns working, volume controls are working, and our cruise control is also working. So volume, and that's it. Cruise control is now activated from the steering wheel. Alright, so what we're going to go do right now is a test drive on the vehicle with the new cruise control kit and steering wheel module kit installed. So start the car, cruise control activates straight away. As you can see, there's no delay at all. All right, let's take this old boy up to a main road and get some speed so we can test the cruise control. All right, driving now, just in the back streets. Volume controls from the steering wheel, just like OEM. There is absolutely no delay on the steering controls either. All of our modules work in microseconds. So I'll jump onto a main road after this. Hopefully there's no traffic and we'll be able to get some speed to actually show you how the cruise control works. Okie dokie. Hopefully we don't get much traffic on this road. Welcome to Sydney. Try to pick up some speed. We just need to be doing over 40 kilometers. It won't work if it's under that. Alright, so we will turn it on. Cruise control is on. I'll set it, which is the push down. And that's it. Cruise control is now on. I am not driving with my shoes or my Crocs. I can accelerate as well. So I accidentally turned it off. Alright, let's do that again. I pushed it. If you push it, it turns cruise off. So accelerate, hold the set button, which is down. Now as we're driving, no feet as you can see, I'm pressing up and we're accelerating to 60. I press down, we're decelerating, and if I push it, the cruise control turns off. Okay? All the other factory features, such as pressing the pedal, also stop the cruise control, but everything is as factory. And that's how we do it here at PVS Automotive. If you have any questions or inquiries, please don't hesitate to give us a call or send us an email. If you need to comment below as well, we can do replies on that, and if you have any other questions, I'm very happy to answer anything for you guys. Stay tuned for another video, subscribe and like our channel. Thanks very much. Jamie from PVS Automotive. And there we have it, guys. PVS basic black upgraded steering wheel in this 105 series. Cruise control working, steering controls working. Everything done here at PVS Automotive. You can purchase this kit online, pvsautomotive.com.au, and we've just done a conversion in this beautiful 105 series. Thanks guys.